Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Your Royal Highness, President Calviño, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, señoras y señores. It's a great honor to be with you today in Luxembourg. And on behalf of the European Investment Bank Group, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Luxembourg if it's your first time here, and to warmly welcome all of you joining us online across Europe and, in fact, across the world as well. Welcome to the EIB Group Forum 2026. Now, this year's theme is a strong Europe in a changing world. And of course, it could not be more timely. We meet a profound plethora of events on the doorstep: global transformation, geopolitical shifts, technology, disruption, climate urgency, and security challenges, all of which will be discussed over the next 3 days. But it is also a moment rich with opportunity for Europe to lead, to invest, and to act together. My name is Lisa Burke, and it really is an honor to be your Master of Ceremony over the next few days. I will also be your timekeeper, both for the speakers and for you, dear participants. So if you're a speaker or a moderator and I slowly walk to the stage, that will mean time is up. And also for participants, please do come back into the room on time. We have plenty of opportunity for networking through the lunch breaks, through the coffee breaks, and in the evenings as well. But we have a very full and rich, diverse program. Now, to connect, engage, and to stay informed, you can make full use of the app. There's a QR code on the back of your badges as well. And members of the EIB team are all around. They're easily identifiable, not because the EIB breeds a certain type of person, but because they are wearing a light blue scarf. And they will have all sorts of knowledge to share with you as well. And they're there to help you, support you, and answer any questions you may have. This year, we're also trying to be as inclusive as possible. So on the screens, we're going to have subtitles. It's the first time we're going to do this, so they may not be 100% accurate. But of course, we strive for 100% accuracy. But just bear with us if it's not. Over the next few days, you will all have the opportunity to be amongst leaders in finance, business, politics, and civil society as well. The program is dense, it's ambitious, and deliberately so, but at its core, at its heart, the forum is about impact, turning ambition into action and investment into real outcomes for people, for citizens of Europe and the world. But to formally open, please let's watch a video which has been developed and produced by the EIB team.
What makes us strong in a changing world? What drives our ability to stay competitive, autonomous, and resilient? It's about nurturing our unity as Europeans, as global partners. It's about staying connected at home and across the borders. It's about improving our energy security under the sea, as well as on land. It's about securing access to critical raw materials.
This is where we're building Project Lionheart, Europe's first carbon-neutral lithium project.
And yes, it's about harnessing space technology to stay prepared.
Welcome to Eurotech. We're now in the heart of Munich, and this is where the future of Earth observation is being built.
It's about modernizing and boosting our defense industries to protect our citizens and to reinforce our security.
We really found that you don't need to be in Silicon Valley to find top talent.
It's about driving innovation, backing disruptive technologies that power our digital economy. Building for better health, affordable housing, and investing in new solutions for the construction industry.
With our invention, we are contributing to healthier and environmentally sounder construction materials.
Building what Europe needs now. That's what makes us stronger. A strong Europe in a changing world.
Please welcome your host to formally open this event. It is President Nadia Calviño.
Your Royal Highness, Monseigneur, ladies and gentlemen, Executive Vice President, dear Raffaele, well, there's so many colleagues that you will excuse that I'm not going to address each and every one of you. Welcome. Welcome to this year's EIB Group Forum. It is such a pleasure to be in the company of so many friends, committed policymakers, business leaders, innovators, civil society champions in this annual gathering in Luxembourg. And let me start by thanking the teams in the EIB, in the EIF that have made it possible, that organize this great event. Because like every year, they put a great effort, they put their heart in the preparation of this impressive event. It's an impressive lineup that we have of speakers, thinkers, doers. And I think they also put their heart and their brains into making you feel at home, and for some days making Luxembourg the place to be. So if I can ask you for a round of applause for this invisible work. And I also want to thank personally the speakers that have come, because with so many things happening, with so many points of attention right now around the world, the fact that you are here, the fact that we have the Executive Vice President, that we have a number of speakers that have come from around the world and that they will be participating in our forum. In my view, it shows that this has been consolidated as a key event to discuss and to exchange views on current challenges and opportunities, but also that there is a need for people to get together, to speak, to share views, to try to find solutions, acting in a consensual manner, trying to build win-win partnerships. And that, I think, is the main deliverable that we have for us this week. And in previous occasions, we have exchanged a lot about these challenges, opportunities, the way forward, and there is unanimous agreement on what are the 4 things that Europe needs to do at this juncture. Deepen European integration, including of capital markets, large-scale investment in critical infrastructure, in strategic technologies and capabilities like the ones that have been reflected in the video, simplification to make the EU more agile, more efficient, and more win-win partnerships and global alliances to diversify our supply chains, to open new markets, also to build strong partnerships and friendships in this brave new world. Now, since our last gathering 1 year ago, momentum is building in all these areas. Minds are focused, things are moving, and the European Investment Bank Group, as the financial arm of the European Union, is playing a strategic role, a key role in delivering results with impact that businesses and people can feel and our partners can trust. To help frame the discussion of the next few days, I would like to make 3 points. First, as the reshaping of the geopolitical context enters a new phase, we feel we're entering a new phase every day, or at different points of each and every day. Europe has the capacity, the resources, the financial, diplomatic and economic muscle to lead and contribute to shaping the new global order as a beacon of stability, security and values. Europe's strength and resilience is actually one of the key takeaways of the EIB Group's annual investment report, to be presented later today by our excellent economics department. Based on a survey of 13,000 firms across the EU and the US, the report shows that European firms are weathering well the tariff shock. They continue to invest and innovate, diversifying their supply chains and trade flows, and benefiting from the world's biggest and ever-expanding network of free trade agreements. And these findings are also reflected in the performance of financial markets. European stock markets outperformed US exchanges in 2025, rewarding investors that put their trust in our economy, and they continue to perform better than the other side of the Atlantic in the current year. The economy has remained resilient despite the multiple shocks. Opinion polls show record levels of public support for the EU and for the euro. And global surveys indicate that majorities around the world see the EU as a great power on an equal footing with the US and China. Sometimes others see things clearer than we can do. Europe is a global superpower, a 19 trillion euros economy with a vast single market of nearly 500 million people, ahead of a new wave of enlargement. In nominal terms, Europe's economy is bigger than China's. In purchasing power terms, it is about as big as the US. A manufacturing and export powerhouse, home to world-class universities and research centers, as well as a vibrant ecosystem of startups. Equally important, Europe is emerging as a sanctuary for science, democracy and the rule of law, a magnet for global talent in these volatile times, and an anchor of trust for our partners. The investment report also shows that the adoption by European companies of new technologies like artificial intelligence matches what we see across the Atlantic. And the European Union is already a center of excellence in key technologies like quantum and high-performance computing, like health tech and biotech, advanced manufacturing and industrial robotics, clean tech, and aerospace. I don't need to explain here in this venue and in this country how important the capacity of European companies is in this key area. And this brings me to my second point, and it is that scale and speed are essential to capitalize on these strengths. I was in Brussels and Munich some days ago where I could see the impressive potential of European pioneer companies in new technologies, many of which, by the way, let me have a brief moment to highlight these, many of which have received support by the European Investment Bank Group, by the way. Like Candela from France, which builds industry-grade quantum computings, ISAR Aerospace from Germany, which is developing a new generation of rockets, boosting Europe's autonomous access to space. We have a rich gathering of such pioneers at the forum this week, and their message is loud and clear. We need to mobilize capital at scale so that ideas, technologies, and companies that are born European can also grow and thrive here in Europe. And this means a large internal market without barriers or different regulations, and it also means pan-European financing instruments that can channel savings into productive investment. The European Investment Bank Group is in itself a capital market union instrument, pan-European by design, with projects and presence in every corner of our union, in every region of our union, as we were just discussing with the Executive Vice President, and in 160 countries around the world. With a 600 billion balance sheet, a robust AAA rating, 100 billion euros in annual business last year, it will be maintained in 2026, and perfectly matching and aligned with Europe's political and policy priorities. Owned by the 27 member states of the European Union, not more, not less, and with a diversified portfolio that enables large-scale investment and at the same time high-risk innovative ventures, mobilizing private finance. The European Investment Bank Group is leveraging every euro of the European budget to mobilize 15 euros of total investment, the bulk of it from the private sector. And it also has a very successful experience in introducing financial instruments that put Europe's capital to work. Let me give you one example. Green bonds, an asset class that the European Investment Bank Group pioneered back in 2007, with a very close partnership with the Luxembourg Stock Exchange, by the way, and which has mobilized trillions of euros in investment towards sustainable projects since then, boosting the international role of the euro and deepening European bond markets. The European Investment Bank Group is also Europe's biggest venture finance trigger, with a 30% market share in European venture debt and a 25% in European venture capital last year. We're signing deals in these areas every week. TechEU, our flagship finance program to support 250 billion euros of investment into new technologies by 2027. When we announced it, it looks very far away, but it is actually round the corner. This target of 2027 is on track to achieve these results. And in less than 3 years, our instruments have already doubled the number of European mega funds investing into scale-ups and anchored the creation of 11 European unicorns, fast-growing companies with at least 1 billion euros in capital. And today I can announce that the EIB Group is going a step further. This year, we plan to extend the reach of the European Tech Champions Initiative, the biggest fund of funds of its kind in Europe, fully dedicated to supporting scale-ups. Our aim is to mobilize private institutional investors in supporting European innovators, complementing Commission initiatives like the Scale Up Europe Fund and the upcoming 28th regime for pan-European investors and companies. We are also working on an exit toolbox, scaling up venture debt, convertible instruments, acquisition finance, and tailored support to facilitate listings in European markets. We are very interested to hear your views and proposals this week as we finalize the design of these instruments to respond to market needs. We will also be organizing shortly a roundtable with investors to fine-tune our instruments. And this brings me to my third point. And it is that when we stick together, we are unstoppable. And that is why building these partnerships here and in everything we do is so important to achieve our objectives. The European Union, time and again, has shown that it can go big and move fast. And my confidence, because many times people tell me, but you look so confident. But my confidence is based on real evidence. Let me give you a couple of examples. In 2020, it was a European biotech company that developed a vaccine against COVID in a matter of months, helping the world put down a once-in-a-lifetime, I hope, pandemic. European leaders launched a massive recovery and resilience program financed by joint debt, an unprecedented show of solidarity and unity. And then, when Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine caused a massive spike in energy prices, the Eurozone's GDP grew faster than China's and the US. Investment in clean energy is booming, and Europe is irreversibly cutting off the dependence to Russian gas. The European Investment Bank Group is proud to finance half of the projects going on in Europe to reinforce energy grids. 1 in 5 solar energy plants, 1 in 3 onshore wind projects, and the majority of offshore wind projects in Europe. So from interconnectors and transmission networks in Spain, France, Italy, and Greece, you saw some of the examples in the video, to nuclear facilities in Finland, new railways in Czechia, energy efficiency investments in Croatia and for SMEs throughout the whole EU, decarbonization of heavy industries in Portugal, offshore wind parks in Poland. These are towering symbols of European manufacturing excellence and industrial might. And they are creating thousands of jobs across the supply chain and supporting industries where Europe is a global champion. Producing clean power also cuts the dependence of our economies to fossil fuel imports and their volatile price swings and cements EU's energy sovereignty and independence. I don't need to emphasize the importance of this very core objective of the European Investment Bank in these troubling times. European renewable energy stocks are up more than 50% in the last year, reflecting increased demand for clean power. And major European car manufacturers reported an annual increase of more than 60% in their electric vehicle sales in Europe. So my main message is that political rhetoric may shift. There may be high-level debates about these issues, but the business case is clear. And an energy revolution is in full swing, and Europe is leading the way into tomorrow's world. We also need to move together fast and at scale to defend democracy in this new geopolitical order. And when it comes to security and defense investment, 2025 was a turning point for the European Investment Bank Group. It was from this podium exactly 1 year ago where I announced the change of our policies, expanding beyond dual use to start investing into pure defense projects. Our financing volumes have multiplied by 4 in 2 years. We reached already the 5% target of our total business inside the EU in 2025. And the EIB Group has a robust pipeline of flagship projects in 5 key areas. Large critical infrastructure, including military mobility, such as a flagship military base in Lithuania's border with Belarus, that was also signed, that was also in the video we just watched. Second area is reinforcing homegrown industrial capabilities, supporting leading players in the areas of drones and aerospace. Research and development of new security technologies. Only a few weeks ago, we signed another groundbreaking research program, and we are supporting large European contractors. Fourthly, we are supporting the small and medium-sized companies in the supply chain of European defense contractors, partnering up with commercial banks, from the German Deutsche Bank to Santander in Spain or the Erste Bank in Austria and other countries. And finally, we're also nurturing the development of a venture capital ecosystem, investing in European security and defense. And I can also announce today that we will expand the successful defense equity facility going forward, through which the European Investment Fund acts as an anchor investor, mobilizing capital into specialized private funds in the area of security and defense. And in the course of the forum, we will be also announcing another major investment into a pan-European venture capital fund devoted to investments in deep tech in this area of defense. Obviously, security is not just a matter of defense capabilities, it is also linked to energy, technology, our social infrastructures, and trade agreements that are underpinning reliable supply chains and strong partnerships around the world. And I am really happy that we will be also having very interesting panels here, and we have high-level speakers that are going to continue to support these strong win-win partnerships that we want to build around the world. As a proud member of the Multilateral Development Bank family, the European Investment Bank Group is supporting many excellent projects that contribute to a more stable, more peaceful, more prosperous world, as I had the chance to exchange yesterday with the head of the African Development Bank. Final word before I close. This fight for our strategic autonomy and prosperity is at the heart, and I think you have heard it throughout my introductory remarks. It is at its core a fight for our values. It's about what defines us as Europeans, like the social infrastructure that underpins our way of life, like high quality healthcare and education, like our food and agricultural products, good homes for our people. It's a fight for a more inclusive society with equal opportunities for everyone, bringing opportunities to each and every one of the regions of our union, every community, every group. As we approach the International Women's Day, we're announcing a new gender action plan to further empower women and support gender equality, politically, economically, financially, because when words like climate, inclusion, equality, even women are banned and they become revolutionary in some places, we see them as a call for action, and we see them as our compass. Because this is what makes Europe great. Our strength is a forward-looking strength. It is based on progress, not nostalgia. And let me close with the very inspiring words of a song by Leonard Cohen that I think about very often. It is time to ring the bells that still can ring. For there is a crack. There is a crack in everything. And that's how the light gets in. So let's ring our bells. Thank you very much. Let's move forward.
Thank you so much, President Calviño. It's now my honor to welcome to the stage His Royal Highness, the Grand Duke of Luxembourg.
Madam President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. You may wonder why a constitutional monarch is addressing a forum devoted to our most pressing political challenges. Yet perhaps this is precisely the moment when a long-term perspective might be welcomed. My role has shaped me to always acknowledge a sense of continuity that stretches across generations. A continuity that mirrors Europe's own journey, as well as my own family history. My grandfather fought for Europe's freedom on the beaches of Normandy and lived as head of state through the birth of what would become the European Union. My father accompanied the steady progress towards an ever closer union. These experiences shaped my understanding of Europe not as an abstract project, but as a living commitment passed from one generation to the next. Europe's journey has never been linear, but it has always been purposeful. This sense of purpose gives perspective, and above all, it gave hope to many generations. This should serve as a reminder to look beyond the headlines that confront us daily and that perhaps give rise to indignation, mistrust, even disbelief. This is the reason why that very purpose, which has inspired so many generations, must be paired with honesty and responsibility. It should remind us that Europe has always advanced by pairing realism with ambition, always trying to put the human being at the center of its decisions. Today, as we face renewed geopolitical rivalry, a war of aggression on our continent, an escalation of hostilities in the Middle East, and the rise of extremist and Eurosceptic movements, we must once again lift our gaze beyond the immediate. Recent debates at Davos and Munich have shown how sharply the world is questioning the role of values in international affairs. Some argue that partnerships should rest solely on interests, yet Europe's strength has always come from something deeper. As Enlightenment thinker, such as Immanuel Kant once rightly said, lasting peace is built not on power, but on cooperation among free states bound by law. That conviction also shaped the foundations of our union, and it remains essential today. Europe's strength has always come from this shared moral compass, not as an abstract ideal, but as a guide through uncertainty. It meant therefore so much to me and to all the members of my family to have the heads of two major European institutions at our side last October when I took my oath as new Grand Duke. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to take the floor at the European Investment Bank's annual forum. This institution fully embodies the ambition and solidarity of the European project. The EIB is not only a vital source of financing that drives economic development, it has also consistently shown foresight and vision. Through its ability to adapt, to innovate, and anticipate the challenges ahead, it has become an indispensable pillar of our common endeavor. Today, the EIB strengthens European economic resilience, accelerates our transition towards a sustainable and climate-secure future, and underpins our collective security by directing investment where it is most strategically needed. Its work is a powerful expression of what Europe can achieve when we align our resources with our shared purpose. Investment is indeed the defining word here. Investment is never merely financial. It is strategic, it is human, and above all, it is a collective endeavor. The great thinkers who shaped the foundations of Europe's values, our economic principles, and the functioning of our societies remind us that true investment extends far beyond capital. Investment in people, in knowledge, in the institutions that safeguard our freedoms is the bedrock of a stable, prosperous, and peaceful society. It is this deeper, more enduring form of investment that has allowed Europe to thrive, and it must continue to guide us as we navigate the challenges of our time. Investing in our competitiveness means reinforcing the very foundation of Europe's economic resilience. If we want the European Union to remain the place where our young people can envision their future and where businesses can innovate and thrive, then strengthening our competitiveness is nothing short of essential. Competitiveness is indeed not simply an economic imperative. It is the foundation that enables the Union to protect its social model, uphold its values, and offer opportunities to all its citizens. At the heart of this endeavor lies our greatest strategic asset, the single market. It is the engine of our prosperity, the platform that enables scale, innovation, and opportunity across our continent. Keeping the internal market at the center of our actions is not simply an economic choice. It is a commitment to Europe's long-term vitality and global relevance. In May, Mario Draghi will be awarded the Karlspreis in Aachen in recognition not only of the clarity and conviction with which he has guided Europe's thinking on competitiveness and its long-term future, but also of his pivotal role as president of the European Central Bank in safeguarding the euro at a moment of profound uncertainty. I greatly look forward to this ceremony. His works are a powerful reminder that Europe's ability to prosper and to ensure a bright future for our children depends on our willingness to act decisively today. Investing in research and innovation is essential to strengthening Europe's competitiveness. Through strategic investment in research, digital transformation and talent, we are equipping our economy not only to meet the demands of today, but also to flourish in tomorrow's landscape. Innovation and research matter a lot to me, and I have had the privilege of engaging directly with many of those who are pushing the boundaries of knowledge. Time and again, I have seen how they must persevere in a challenging and complicated environment. Innovation and research thrive in an environment that celebrates courage and self-confidence. I am certain that Europe can give rise to true pioneers. We need consciously to foster a culture of creativity and innovation. Investing in social cohesion is essential to safeguard the unity and stability of our Union. It is also one of the core values the EU has inherited from its Franco-Luxembourgish founding father, Robert Schuman, and a value that is essential to a country like Luxembourg with its multicultural and multilingual society. The European Union has succeeded in building a true community, one grounded in a sense of belonging, mutual respect, and solidarity. This has never been a simple task, yet by fostering an environment where people meet, connect, and build trust, we have achieved something remarkable. A Europe in which diverse communities can engage fully, participate confidently, and thrive together. At the heart of this success lies the Schengen Treaty. By removing internal borders, it created a space where freedom of movement is not an abstract principle, but a lived reality. It has profoundly shaped daily life, enabling millions to live, work, and travel across borders with ease. This openness strengthens our social fabric, deepens our interactions, and ensures that talent can flourish wherever in Europe it is most needed. It sustains our competitiveness and reinforces the trust that binds our nations to one another. Schengen is more than a policy. It is a powerful expression of the confidence we place in our shared future. And the beauty of it all is that when people ask me if Luxembourg is in Schengen, I can respond with a big smile that Schengen is in Luxembourg. Let us return to the essence, investing in peace and security. The European Union is the most ambitious and successful peace project of modern times. Not because it sought to eliminate differences, but because it turned them into collective strength. Nations that once stood opposed stand together as partners, allies, and friends. Borders that once instilled fear have become bridges of connection. And the idea of never again took shape in institutions, laws, and everyday practices of cooperation. As we remember that peace was the EU's first and greatest achievement, we must also recognize that it can never be taken for granted. Each generation has a duty to protect it, to renew it, and to cherish it. The conflict on our eastern borders reminds us with painful clarity that peace is fragile, and that the values on which our union was built are as indispensable today as they were at its birth. Investing in multilateralism is investing in peace. At a time when global tensions rise and international norms have come under increasing strain, the European Union continues to stand as one of the world's most committed champions in multilateralism. We must remember that cooperation is not a constraint, but a catalyst, one that enables us to confront the challenges no member state can face alone, and to grasp the opportunity that only a shared ambition can unlock. Europe is neither an island, nor should it become a fortress. Our prosperity has never grown in isolation, but in the exchanges and partnerships that have shaped our continent for centuries. When international rule-based order is attacked, it is not the moment to retreat or waver. On the contrary, it is precisely then that we must reaffirm Europe's role as a responsible and reliable actor on the global stage. An actor committed to upholding international law, strengthening cooperation, and building bridges. When the foundations of order are challenged, our resolve to defend them must only grow stronger. For any country in the world, like Luxembourg, that cannot rely on sheer force to protect itself and to thrive, multilateralism is not a theoretical idea. It is a strategic imperative. Our security, prosperity, and the well-being of our people depend on strong international rules, reliable partnerships, and a multilateral system that functions effectively and fairly. Investing in sustainability and our climate future is a firm commitment. It is not a short-term undertaking. It is a solemn responsibility to the generations that will follow us. Investing in our climate future means accelerating the transition to clean energy, fostering innovation in green technologies, and the responsible use of our natural resources. These efforts are essential, not only to safeguard our planet, but to ensure that young Europeans inherit an economy that is competitive, resilient, and prosperous. In this common endeavor, the European Investment Bank plays a key and strategic role. As the EU's climate bank, the EIB has the unique capacity to mobilize the investment required to drive the green transition, to support breakthrough technologies, and to accompany regions and industries through the transformation that lie ahead. Our collective ambition must be clear. No generation should be left to shoulder the burden alone. And this leads me to my last point, which is particularly dear to me: investing in the youth. The spirit of cooperation that lies at the heart of the European project is carried forward most powerfully by our young people. They embody the hope, energy, and determination required to build a better future for Europe. While we, as head of states, governments, institutions, and businesses, take today's decision, it is they who will shape the Europe of tomorrow. Their aspiration, Their creativity and their profound sense of justice are indispensable to keeping the European project alive in a world undergoing rapid change. It is therefore our collective responsibility to offer them a European Union worthy of their expectations, one that provides the opportunities and the future they deserve. Born into the European Union, today's young people are truly European citizens. As they study, work, and travel across borders through programs such as Erasmus, they grow into a generation shaped by openness, curiosity, and opportunity. Their lives remind us of the true meaning and the enduring value of European unity. And they do not hesitate to hold us to account when we fall short. They challenge our institutions to live up to the values the European Union proclaims and to respond with courage and integrity to injustice and intimidation. We must ensure not only that they are heard, but that they also participate meaningfully in shaping public policy. Their engagement will enrich our decisions, strengthen our democracies, and fortify the European Union as a whole, as long as we, European leaders, continue to inspire them to do so. We cannot let them down. Ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, all these efforts converge towards a single shared ambition: investing in our common European project to ensure a peaceful and prosperous life for our citizens. A project built on cooperation, on mutual respect, and on the conviction that our collective strength is far greater than the sum of our individual endeavors. The European Investment Bank and the institutional and private partners gathered here today have laid the stone of this path, and you are giving it strength and direction. I am proud to be the head of state of the country that hosts the European Investment Bank, and I thank you for your trust in my country that is your home. Even in today's challenging international climate, I remain convinced that progress can only be achieved through cooperation. This is why we must reaffirm our unwavering commitment to multilateralism, to international partnerships, and to European integration. This is the path that has brought us here, and it is the path that will carry us forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for honouring us with your presence and also for your outlooks and your remarks for the future from Luxembourg. Now, we are also honoured to be joined by Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, by video message.
President Calviño, dear Nadia, ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to speak about opportunities in challenging times, because we must use this as a moment of opportunity. We're all aware of the profound geopolitical shifts we face, and our mission is clear. Europe must become more independent and more competitive. And in this, the EIB is an indispensable partner, because your investments multiply opportunities and will help us to deliver on our goals. So let me focus on 3 points. The first is clean technologies. We know that we must build and scale them here in Europe. And that is exactly where the EIB steps in. Last year, about 60% of EIB group financing supported the clean transition, from wind energy to power grids and energy efficiency. These investments bring down energy costs across Europe and create new opportunities. And they give us an edge so that Europe can lead the technologies of tomorrow. The same principle holds true for defense, and this is my second example. Europe is taking greater responsibility for its own defense. And when we stepped up, EIB stepped up too. It quadruples financing for security and defense, reaching nearly 5% in 2025. And this financing includes a military base in Lithuania, cutting-edge drone systems, and new aeronautics and radar technologies, just to name a few. These investments not only improve our defense, but allow for innovation and crucial new technologies. Which brings me to my third point. Technological independence is more important than ever. Not only do we want to develop tomorrow's technologies here in Europe, we want companies that are born here to flourish here. And therefore, EIB funding fuels Europe's innovation engine. From rolling out AI gigafactories to mobilizing capital for tech startups and scale-ups. But more has to be done. We need the right financing at the right scale and the right time. And this is why we must make the Savings and Investment Union a reality. And I'm glad to have you as a strong ally in this effort. We need one large, deep and liquid capital market. This is key to strengthening our competitiveness. It will give our businesses the capital they need to innovate and grow. And this creates quality jobs in Europe. We have made proposals on market integration, securitization and supervision, and now I count on the co-legislators to complete this work. Ladies and gentlemen, we know Europe has what it takes to build a strong and independent union. So let's work together to turn opportunities into reality. Thank you, and long live Europe.
So we've had all the formal opening speeches, and we're now going to move on to our first panel discussion.